Oh, I missed that sound and I missed you guys. Welcome back, TokiTV. We've been on a little break. Thank you guys for joining us. Before we get going, though, everyone who's watching, I would like you to go to the bottom of your screen, hit the share button, and share it because we've been off air for a little while, and I want to make sure that folks see that we are back on. And we're happy to be back on, and they do not want to miss today's guest. So do your friends a favor and share it to your personal Facebook pages so that more people can join and hear from Bia in a little bit. But all that being said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for coming back. I want to just go around and check in with everyone. I'll tell you, I've been just crazy busy and really just trying to find some peace on this earth. And I think the break was needed for me. I don't want to speak for the group, but I think we all just needed a minute. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on that we're praying for. And so, please excuse us for the little break that we did have, but we are back. So let's check in. Howard, how are you today?
Real good. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny, breezy day. And yesterday we had a herd of about 30 elk that were running around the pastures. The Balcom Big Salmon Ranch is rewilding as we watch. The grasses are growing, the trees are leafing out. There's all sorts of blooms all over the place. It's just a beautiful place. And June is Orca Action Month. And so there are events all month. And on June 29th, we are going to have a Toki's Legacy event on the Tokite or Tokitai, they're both correct, ferry from noon until 4 o'clock. We're going to be just going back and forth on the ferry, but with the new exhibits and all the education, all the passengers can possibly stand to let them know why we're commemorating Toki and explaining her legacy and what it means to us. And that'll be on the wall on displays. And then we'll get off the ferry and walk up the hill to the Clinton Community Club and have another event up there from 4 until 8 in the afternoon. So it's going to be a full day, June 29th in Clinton.
Wonderful.
So that's my public service announcement.
Well, thank you for that. How have you been? You've been.
Oh, I've been, busy and getting things done. There's, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of yard work. So I've been out planting native plants all over the yard, which means digging holes, putting in compost, building little dams and making them happy, and then trying to fence them off from the deer because they'll ravage everything I plant if I don't. And then watering them. And we've got a kind of a heat spell coming in the next couple of days. So I watered ahead of time before I left the house. But yeah, I've been well. Thank you. Doing well.
Well, it's really good to see you. I've missed you, my buddy.
It's good to see all of you too.
Brandy, how are you in California?
Doing good. Same thing. Busy. I'll be heading out to Seachelt, Canada next Monday for the summer. I'll be there for 3 months. So I'm going to be working at the community hospital, and it's great because it's right there on the Salish Sea, and there's like a lot of people that I'll be able to connect with, and I'm just really excited about that. I'm excited about I feel some movement. There's some things going on. We've all been resting and recharging our batteries. So now it's time to get busy.
It is. Thank you. I'm going to remind everyone again, share this post, especially if you're on Facebook. Most of our viewers right now are on YouTube, which is really, really great. Thank you guys for joining on YouTube. But again, just, want people to know that we're back on the air. So if we could do that. Deb Cruz, how are you in the North Salish Sea?
Where am I?
There you are.
There we are.
I'm trying to go through. Howard, do you have a posting for that June 29th event somewhere? I was
It's
looking to see if I could share that, but I can't find it.
Well, it's in the most recent whale sightings report, which was 2 days ago, June 6th. The sightings, the week's sightings came out, and at the top of that are some announcements, and that's
Okay.
one of them. Um, Otherwise, it should be on the Orca Network Facebook page. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Anyway, so okay.
How are you?
Life is life. We're moving right along. I was telling everybody earlier before we came on the air that my sisters and I went up to Victoria to visit Bouchard Gardens, and on the way back, there was the humpback whales were in just right below Mount Baker, and I just was looking at Orca Network has the postings of those whales that we saw, so it was pretty cool. It was the guy upstairs on the captain on the loudspeaker. We just know how. So everybody rushes over to the whales to see, and we did get to see we got to see the tails, so that was pretty
Love it.
cool. Yeah,
That's awesome. So magical. So
yeah,
magical. Christina, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful for being here and all the things that I have, and looking for pockets of peace in this mad world, which I find all over the place. Actually, there's lots of lovely things. So, like Howard, I'm planting lots of native plants in my yard and doing lots of things that I can do to help, the environment and the whales. Speaking of Orca Month, still writing to Senator Patty Murray and Ferguson. So, never stop doing that, please. That's really important that we don't. I know there's a lot of other crazy things going on and people are super busy, but we can't let them know that we can't be quiet, basically. So definitely working on, maybe a campaign to Senator Murray. So we got to keep moving, even though there's lots of crazy stuff. The orcas still are starving and they still need the dams breached, and there's still lots of work to be done. So that's where my head is, and I'm just so happy to be here back on TokiTV because I miss you guys, and I like being part of this public service. It's important. So thanks, Annette, for coming back on.
Yeah, thank you. And we met what was it last week, Christina? When we all kind of huddled up just to lift each other up, I think, and finding the pockets of peace, like you said, and then also planting the pockets of peace. So not just planting the yes, plant, grow. We need to help the earth. And then also just maybe planting some positive messages along your way. So if you just think of, walking around, throwing seeds, throw some seeds of love, throw some seeds of joy, say something nice to someone. We talked about really just making eye contact with someone and just smiling to brighten their day. The world needs more of that. Paint a little message on a rock, and leave it for someone to find on their journeys, because we got to do what we can do. We're going to get to our special guest now, and remind me if I don't before we go. I do want to talk to you guys. Ocean was released today on Disney, and I think Hulu. I think Ocean with David Attenborough, about the trawling situation. You have got to see that. I just finished watching it like 2 minutes before we went live to get like the final message. It is really, really well done. We'll talk more about that, but and it's kind of that message, Christina, like it still is up to us. There is hope, but we can't stop. And it's a beautiful message. It was really, really well done. But I want to get to our special guest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first add slides up here, and then Miss Fia, if you are ready, um, here we go. I'm going to let Fia introduce herself and talk to us more.
Thank you, Annette. My name is Fiorella De La O. I am also called Fia. I am a Quechuan descendant. My ancestors are the indigenous people of the Andean region of Peru. I was born with high functioning autism, and with the support of my family and teachers, I have learned to use my unique ways of thinking to grow my voice and follow my dream of helping the world. I am now a junior in the Environmental Conservation Program, a Bachelor of Science at Skagit Valley College in Mount Vernon, Washington, and I'll be a senior this fall. I've always felt a deep connection to the southern residents and the ecosystems of the Pacific Northwest, and I also to the Amazon rainforest. I use art to speak alongside them, to help others feel what I feel. In the summer of 2020, I first learned about Tokite's story in the program called Guardians of the Sea by the CSC School in Anacortes, Washington. Hearing her story broke my heart and brought me the confidence to take action. So I made a promise to speak up for her, for the southern resident orcas, and for the Chinook salmon they rely on to survive. At that moment started my journey of using my voice, my art, and my writing to help protect them and bring Tokite home to her native waters and her family. I've created many pieces of art about the southern residents, the salmon, and the people who love them, because we are all connected. Here's a video that was made earlier in my advocacy in 2021. It shows my hope that Tokite would one day return home. Be any minute.
Hi, my name is Amy Eberling. I'm the executive director of the Salish Sea School, and I am so excited to introduce you to one of our students.
Hello, my name is Fiorella, but you could call me Fia, and I'm a graduate of the 2020 Guardians of the Sea class. I have deep compassion for animals and the natural environment. The Salish Sea School Summer Program taught me how to be an active leader in protecting our marine ecosystem. As a guardian of the sea, I use my artwork and voice to advocate for marine conservation, to raise awareness about environmental challenges that threaten our oceans. I love helping with science research, a seabird survey, learning about forage fish and how important they are to this ecosystem. I've sent letters to the Pacific Fishery Council and government officials in Washington state and British Columbia, asking them to stop overfishing salmon, which the endangered southern resident orcas of the Sea need to survive. I have also been raising awareness through my artwork and writing letters pleading to the release of Tokite, a southern resident orca brutally taken from her family pod 50 years ago. Tokite was shipped 3,400 miles from her home to a tiny pool at Miami Seaquarium in Florida to be used for entertainment. Her pool is just 80 feet wide by 20 feet deep. In the wild, orcas can swim over 100 miles a day and dive hundreds of feet. Tokite's captors gave her the stage name of Lolita. I call it her slave name. I created this colored pencil drawing of my vision of Tokite reunited with her family pod. It is called Tokite's Reunion. It shows her breaching in the afternoon sun with Mount Baker in the background and her family swimming nearby. She has a tear of joy in her eyes. When I am disheartened by injustice and lack of progress, I fall back on hope I get from taking positive action, and on strength I have built up over a lifetime of managing my autism disorder. One day, I hope to be a conservation zoologist and do field research in the Amazon rainforest. I believe in a bright future, and I hope to share a better understanding with others to help them recognize the connection and the balance of all life.
One of my first big projects was writing an essay about Tokite and the Southern residents. My essay was then chosen as a top 10 finalist in an international youth conservation program. The essay tells more of the story of Tokite's capture, her strength and endurance, and why her story matters. It's all about protecting the Southern residents, the salmon they rely on, and the Salish Sea. Down below is a link to the full essay included in the description if anyone wants to read it more about it. In 2022, an Indigenous-led nonprofit called Cecilia, meaning grandmother in the Lummi language for the Lummi tribe, they organized a totem pole journey. The journey raised awareness about efforts to remove the dams on the lower Snake River, a major tributary to this day of the Columbia River that once produced the salmon in the region. Today, the salmon runs in the Snake River are down to just about 1% of their historic levels. These Chinook salmon are essential to the survival of the southern resident orcas and the overall health of the Salish Sea. I was then invited to create 18 drawings for the Journey's companion calendar, which is titled Snake River to the Salish Sea, Spirit of the Waters. Each piece of art followed the journey of the totem pole down the river. In the calendar, I honored Tokite by using her Lummi name, Scully Tuktanuk, as a way of standing with the community that never stopped calling her home. In this slide, some of the artwork I created for the Snake River to the Salish Sea, Spirit of the Waters calendar. Each piece follows the totem pole's journey and is paired with quotes from tribal wisdom. The journey moves from the baby mountain springs to the creeks and streams, the young ones, to the rivers, the adults, to the ocean, home of the elders, and finally, in spirit, to the place where life begins and then becomes a cycle. I use seasonal colors to show how life flows through time and how water types, memory, and survival are all connected. These pieces center on the beauty of nature along with the salmon and southern residents and the fragile bond they share with each other and with all of us. At one stop along the totem pole's journey, I spoke at the Intellectual House at the University of Washington. I spoke about the damage caused by climate change and poor human choices. How without keeping our wilderness and Mother Earth in balance, I fear that much will be destroyed. I ask people to stop only thinking about today, listen, and to begin thinking ahead, what will happen next? To act for those who are not born yet. Because if we lose a salmon, we lose the southern resident orcas. The Pacific Northwest is destroyed, and we lose a part of ourselves. Everything I said that day came from the heart. I was speaking about what I feel, what I fear, and what I love. I carry the wilderness inside me, and I carry grief for what is being lost, for the salmon, for the southern resident orcas, for the balance we're breaking today. But I also carry hope. Hope that when we speak with honesty and create with purpose, we can remind people what truly matters. That moment helped me realize my voice, my art, and my story belong in this movement. I'm involved in this fight. In sad year, in August 2023, Scully Chukdenuk was meant to return home that year. Her retirement had been arranged after over 50 years in captivity in Florida. We were ready to welcome her back to her home and ancestral waters, but instead of a homecoming, we were met with the grief of her passing. At her celebration of life beside the Salish Sea, I shared my artwork, TokiTV's Reunion, back from the video, and spoke about the loss, connection, and spirit. In many ways, she did not come home, not in body, but in spirit. No more tanks, no more shows, only the open ocean where she belongs, with her family. Her story lives on, in our memory, and in our responsibility to protect her kin and the salmon they depend on. And here's another short clip of the words I shared that day.
Just a little token. Thank you. Fiorella has been a friend of the Southern residents, an advocate, a warrior, just so for me, just a great example of encouragement for our future. And you've done so much for us. And she did a calendar, right? Yeah, and I still have one. I have one down in my shop here. And thank you for that. So we want to like to ask you to share a bit, and we are so thankful for you. Haishka.
TokiTV has finally returned home. I never met TokiTV in person, but in my heart, I felt close to her. Learning how she was taken away long ago made me long for the day she would swim free again. Years back, hearing TokiTV's story, I said, someday TokiTV will swim in these waters, and that day has finally come at last. TokiTV is back with her family in spirit, calling to her mother. About 2 years ago, I drew TokiTV's reunion right here, where she is showing her joyful tear in her eye and her return to her family in native waters. TokiTV endured so much, but stayed strong. She reminds us orcas don't belong to us. They belong here, wild and free, like their ancestors were. TokiTV is gone, but her memory can inspire us to safeguard the endangered southern residents and the salmon they rely on. If we open our hearts to really listen to them, we can honor TokiTV, or Scully Chukdenuk. Though it is a sad moment, I know Scully Chukdenuk is finally at peace. Let her strong spirit forever swim the waters of her home. Thank you.
This year on February, I contributed to a piece of artwork to honor Telequa, another southern resident orca who had recently lost her second calf this year. The piece was part of Northwest Artists Against Extinction, a project of the Save Our Wild Salmon Coalition, a diverse national coalition working to restore wild salmon and steelhead to the rivers, the streams, and the marine waters of the Pacific Northwest. Their work supports the health of our ecosystems, economy, and cultures. My artwork honors Telequa's powerful journey of the grief and love. The sea lanterns are light to show her path, the symbols of shared sorrow and collective hope. It is also for others who heard her story. Sorry about the phone. But the lanterns are for people who heard her story and what she's been through. She is not alone in the grief, that we are here for her. The salmon, central to this region and her survival, reminds us why protecting Chinook is so urgent. And within the eye of the spirit orca, I placed her two calves, resting in the spirit realm forever, remembered by her and by all of us who carry her story forward and looking down over her. Cecilia is now leading a campaign called In the Spirit of Right and Respectful Relations. The campaign draws on ancestral knowledge to support Indigenous-led environmental work, alongside non-Indigenous allies, for the good of Mother Earth and all her relations, down to the 7th generation. It includes books, workshops, and direct action events, all grounded in Indigenous leadership and teachings. The project brings together many partners, including nonprofits, faith-based groups, government agencies, and advocacy networks. I was honored to contribute my artwork to the upcoming book In the Spirit of Right and Respectful Relations, which will be released this fall. The book is a collaboration between Cecilia and Braided River, a nonprofit publisher that creates large format photo books focused on protecting wilderness and raising awareness. A link to pre-order the book is included in the description. The reason I'm here on TokiTV today is to share and invite you to an upcoming event, a majestic matriarchy, honoring the Southern residents, our relatives below the waves. It will be held next Saturday, June 14th at St. Joseph Parish in Seattle. The doors will open at 5 p.m. A link to RSVP and get event details is included in the description as well. This gathering lifts up the leadership of Indigenous women who are protecting the southern resin orcas. It's responsive to a growing crisis. The matriarchs of the orca pods are struggling to hold their families together as extinction looms. The event will include ceremony, song, storytelling, and art, all rooted in love, resistance, and ancestral care. You'll hear from faith leaders, river protectors, artists, and young advocates, all honoring the matriarchal lifeways of the orcas. I'll be a part of the panel called Art for the Matriarchs, where I'll share how visual storytelling can help carry the orca's message to the world. Before I close, I want to leave you with this. Matriarchs, whether orca or human, carry strength even when they are tired. Protecting the orcas mean protecting clean rivers, wild salmon, and spiritual balance we all depend on, and we still have time to change the story if we choose action over silence. I'm deeply grateful to Jay Julius and Kurt Russo at Cecilia for opening so many pathways for me to share my art and voice. And thank you to Annette, Deb, and everyone at TokiTV for holding space for this conversation. Thank you.
Well done, Fia. Well done.
Everyone's going to have something to say here. But Fia, you are so powerful. thank you for your voice, and thank you for all that you're doing. I'm going to unmute everyone here. So if anyone wants to say anything, just wow.
I would like to say that you are an inspiration because also gives me faith and hope for our future generations. Because we need that. We need what you're doing. We need it so desperately. So I'm, I'm always inspired by anyone who is an advocate for the environment and the Southern residents. And I love your art. It's just beautiful. And I did see you at the Jackson ceremony, and that was a very nice presentation. That was a very moving ceremony, all of it. So thank you for coming, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And I will help spread the word for all of your activism and events that you have going on. So I really appreciate you. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say, what a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. Every bit of it was just so meaningful and rich in the imagery and the storytelling. And I think the wrap up on the event coming up on the 14th, the Majestic Matriarchy, is a beautiful thing to talk about and to attend and learn from. It's really a sort of a untold story how rich that matriarchy is in especially the southern residents, but it's normal among orcas around the world that they cluster, the whole families stay bonded with their mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers are all central to their movements, to their diets, their parties, their celebrations, their social events of all kinds. They're all centered around their mothers, grandmothers, the elder females, and that's so important to bring out. And I think it says a lot about how successful they are in the oceans around the world, except for where, like here in the Pacific Northwest, where the salmon have been so decimated. But going way back in history, this was a bountiful salmon paradise for southern residents, and the grandmothers knew it, and they were able to lead their families to the salmon, and they still do, and they're holding on. New calf born in April, and so far so good. So we just need to bring down those dams and replenish those salmon stocks and give them another million big Chinook salmon out there all year round so they can do well. And you're carrying that story so well, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's also not just the salmon that we also have to protect. It's also the waters because of microplastics, any pollution, global warming. We need to fix all that.
I know.
Theo, I can't thank you. Wow. That was a beautiful presentation. I feel your art. And I agree with Christina so much. You're the next generation. You are going to be the one that is sharing the awareness and taking that and going forward and sharing it with others, to make breaching the dams a reality and to, raise awareness for our southern residents and in orcas around the world. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're very special.
Thank you, guys. Fia, I think you brought an instrument with you today. Would you mind to tell us about your flute, and then if you're willing to play us something?
Oh yeah, my dad actually taught me a little pan flute. he too is a Peruvian musician, and this pamphlet was his. It's like over 20 years old. So I'll play like a little something. That would be Condor Pass, a popular song.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I had people muted, but I saw you guys clapping. So go ahead and clap now. Sorry, I unmuted.
Nice, Donna. That was beautiful.
So what was the name of the song again, Fia?
Julio. Oh,
Julio.
sorry. My father is Julio. The song is called El Condor Pasa. It means
Yeah.
the condor passes. A popular song in Peru.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I had the wonderful opportunity to just kind of hang out on the phone with Fia and her mom. And hi, Stacy. I know you're back there somewhere. And we talked about a lot of things, and I don't want to get too off topic, but just your connection with your heritage, Fia, is really important to you, and just your connection with not just your heritage, but the land and the earth and its inhabitants is very very clear in your presentation and your connection with the orcas. And there's going to be so many like-minded people watching today that will want to probably connect with you. I have a couple of questions. Like your artwork, do you have any prints for sale? Do you sell any of your prints of your artwork?
Well, I'm planning to in the future.
Beautiful. Well, I would like to be one of the first people to buy a print or Brandy. And I see some hands going up. So when you decide to do that, please let us know. And however we can do what we can do to support you to continue to do the work that you're doing. We'll be happy to do. We'll be happy to do. I really appreciate you. Are you? Oh, go ahead, Christina.
Oh, I just have a question. I have a question about what inspired you to do all of this. Was it Toki? Was it Tokite when you heard about her story? Or, I mean, please answer the question.
Well, basically, I lived in the Pacific Northwest in the Skagit Valley, Mount Vernon, Burlington, and Anacortes. I've been like around there for most of my life, and I spent most of my childhood there. And I just love being outside all the time, and even like hearing people's stories about the orcas. And I've only got to see the orcas and some of the southern residents a few times in the waters, and that lets me know that they're still there, and they're just amazing creatures, and they're a tribe here. And basically the places that inspire me with Mother Earth is with the Pacific Northwest and the Amazon rainforest, which I still have to go to. I always wanted to go there ever since I was 8. And hearing like about science of environmental science. I also I've been trying to spread out the word, but no matter what I was saying, it just seemed like not everyone was listening to me all the time. But then when I came and started this journey, I couldn't have been this supportive or speaking my words like this right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you were inspired, and you seem beyond your years to me, knowing that it's all connected. You know, it's not just about the salmon and the orca. It's about everything. It's about the trees and, you know, all the other animals, and it's just all connected. And it's just a beautiful thing that you are aware of that. And I'm glad that you were inspired. So, and I'm glad that you got to know Toki a little bit in spirit too, because she's special. She's a very special lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said you're a junior, Fia?
Yeah, I am. And it's still in Skagit Valley, a college student, and I'll be heading to my senior year this fall. I'm just finishing up.
Awesome. That's really great. Do you like it? Do you like school?
Oh, sorry?
Do you enjoy school?
Yeah, I do. It just depends because, because due to my autism, I had hard time fitting in. Even like I spent most of my school years and was finishing all my undergrad school in Maryland, and I was at a private school, which was really grateful and helpful to me. It's called Catherine Thomas School in Rockville, Maryland, and I'm even hoping if some of them are watching Toki TV right now, they would be surprised and say, "Oh, it's Fia! Hello." Well, it's a special needs school for people who have different communications like me, and I think it's like very important that we can't speak with vocal communication all the time. That's just like the orcas, all the animals in the world. They can't use vocal communication. They have to use like body language. They have to show, they have to sing. And that's why like this inspires me a lot.
You are going to change the world, Fia, and you already are and on the path to doing that. So just thank you so much. Very, very inspiring. I see a lot of comments. Great job. We need more young people like you. People thanking you for your presentation and for your good works. Some people are saying, thank you for providing them hope for the future of our earth. If anybody watching has any specific questions for Fia, you're welcome to type them in the chat. I didn't say that earlier, but a lot of people acknowledging your good works, Fia. So thank you for all that you're doing. Deb Cruz, you unmuted yourself. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to let Fia know if she ever needs more colored pencils to let us know, and we'll make sure she's fully stocked so she can continue with her artwork.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
You got it. We'll send you some art supplies. No problems with that. Is there anything, Fia, that we did not ask you that you want to share with us? Is there anything you want to say to us, or any questions you have for maybe Howard or anyone on the screen?
Well, have you guys ever spoken like this or did any activism when you guys were younger like me?
Yeah, I did.
That's a wonderful question. What are some of the things you did as a child?
Me?
Yep.
Oh, well, I used to do lots of things. They used to call me the witch doctor because always have a little purse full of like bay leaves and dandelions, and I'd smush them all up and make little potions and stuff. I've always been like a nature girl, just, like Thea. And I would obviously take care of animals if I found them and help, strays get homes and all sorts of things. I really was going to be an environmentalist, but then I realized that I would need to be a lawyer instead, and it was just not in me. But I did a lot of things when I was little. Yeah, not as much as you though. I mean, not. I couldn't hold a candle to you when I was. Are you 17? 17?
Oh, me? No, I'm 22 now.
Oh, you're 22. Wow, you have a very youthful face.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Actually, when I was your age, then I was in college, and I started an organization called A Better Planet, and we used to go around and do dances and skits regarding the environment and what was happening with it, because it's been happening like this for a long time. So, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, art is really a great way to go, because people always appreciate art. So if you can get people involved just through your art, you're doing a good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Marcia said that she used to take petitions everywhere with her to get people to sign to stop the seal hunting and whaling, etc. So thank you, Marcia, for all of that. I think there's so much expression of helping, with animal and advocacy and just Earth, planet Earth advocacy. I was not as inspiring as you, Fia, but I used to get kicked out of SeaWorld parking lots quite often in my youth because I was
Why?
inside for trying to raise awareness and challenge the things that they would say. Um, there. So that was my younger advocacy, and then, but I'm inspired by yours because it brings hope and love, and it's not just about anger and frustration. And so I wish I had the knowledge that you have when I was your age. I imagine I would have made a much bigger or different impact, but we will continue to do so. Sylvia has a question real quick, and then we can check in on Howard and Brandy of their youth advocacy. But Sylvia wants to know, when did you feel this connection to the orcas?
That's a good question. I guess I probably got connected to the orcas when I was starting to get like in middle school. Somehow, and well, like during like high school and even to this day, I would sometimes have like these strong dreams once in a while with orcas or with wolves, birds, anything, like any animals like I feel really connected to. And when I dream, I just like feel like I'm connected with them and it's giving me a sign. And also I like when I heard about Scully and Telequa, I have the real copy of a drawing. This is Telequa when she lost her first calf. So yeah, it just makes me like so sad, like having to, because when I am hearing their pain or their suffering or hearing like what they're trying to say, that just makes my heart and my emotions feel really deep, like connected with them somehow. And I think that's very important because not everybody has it. But if people like just listen, like even if it's just for 30 seconds, 1 minute, maybe they will feel it too.
That's beautiful. And a reminder to stop and connect. Thank you, Fia.
Mhm.
You mentioned dreams. Would you mind to share with us about the dream you had um, prior to Skelly Cheptanat
Oh, yes.
joining her family in the spirit world?
It happened, I did at first, from the day she died. I didn't know about it after a few years. A few days ago. I had this dream where I was like walking these massive long bridges from different lands, and I was seeing so many whales, dolphins, other sea creatures. But I mostly was seeing giant whales and dolphins around there. But from that entire dream, I did not see any orcas, not even the southern residents. So it felt like a sign. And then when I heard a few days later about Scully Chukdanuk just passed away, then I realized that was what my dream was telling me. And it wasn't just me that was probably having that feeling. Like even her pod, you said that her mother and her family pod, they went to the place where she was taken as a calf for the first time in a long time, a traumatizing year.
Yeah. Fia and I talked about the return of El Pod to Penn Cove, Howard. And we were talking about our thoughts on, why they returned. And you were there, Howard. We were there. Um, and Fia and I had a good conversation about this past week about healing.
Right. Well, that was so powerful. It changed me. I mean, I still can't get over what I and so many others saw that day. And in fact, for 3 or 4 days, when they retraced the steps of that capture and performed rituals, ceremonies at the exact location where the traumas happened, and then went deep into Penn Cove and led by Ocean Sun L-25, and she was the only one who was alive during the captures. All the others, and there were 33 L-pod whales altogether, and all the others had been born after the captures. So she had to have told them what happened there, because then they, as a pod, all of L-pod, performed these incredible ceremonies right over the place where they had been netted and ripped away from their families and strapped onto the side of boats and then lifted out and hauled away. And they remembered that 53 years later somehow. And she was able to somehow share that history with her family. And that really shows a lot to me. They have a long historical, cultural memory of what may have happened. We have no idea how far back in history, how many generations. L-25 had to have learned from her grandmother and great grandmother. And so she carries that, and she's able to impart that to her family. So that really impressed me and showed me they have deep feelings, deep emotions about what happened. And they're quick to learn too. I tell the story often about when my brother Ken first started the research in 1976. So that was still during the captures. And when he went out just to take photos, they avoided him. They wouldn't let him come anywhere near them. They just dove and disappeared for about an hour and a half. And then they apparently realized he's not going to catch anybody. He's just there to take pictures. just click this little box. That's all he's doing. So they let him come up close, and that started his 46-year relationship with the Southern residents, that they all understood that he was good for them. He was a friend. And so they stayed with him. So they really do perceive our feelings, our intentions. And that we've not even scientifically scraped the surface of how much they feel, how much they are aware of in terms of our behavior, our attitudes and intentions toward them. But I think it's pretty deep. They can feel this very deep, and anyone like Marcia, who lived with Toki for so many years, certainly knows how she felt about her, that they had a very close relationship. And that was because Toki understood. Toki shared. She could feel how Marcia was feeling. And that to me just says so much about them.
I think you're
And
gonna
don't forget about, sorry.
go ahead.
Don't forget about when she did pass, that they were all there. They were all there at Lime Kiln.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, it's more than just communication. It's like telepathic. It's, and how they
Right.
get into your dreams and communicate to you. And I mean, it's just amazing. So.
Marcia
That
just said,
completely boggles my mind, right? But there it was. I mean, you can't deny it is not just coincidence. They were there as she was passing in Miami. They were right there, and they were again performing these rituals, or just acting out their grief or their connection to her. I'm not sure, nobody is, of what was really going on, but it was highly unusual. I've never seen it before, in the same place for about 3 hours, doing all kinds of writhing and behaviors that we don't ever see. And they never stay in one place for 3 hours. So it was just highly unusual.
and
And
again, right in front of the camera for us to see,
yes,
teaching
right
us,
under that lime kiln
showing
webcam
us.
the whole
Yeah,
time.
and like Marcia just said, Toki was her trainer, and I was about to say before that popped up, we learned so much. They have so much to teach us. We need to listen, like Fia said. We need to just stop for 30 seconds and connect and feel and learn from them. And Marcia saying they're her teacher. They were teaching us that day. They know more about us than we know about them. They knew we were watching, and they were going to show us that there is more for us to learn from them. I really believe that. Really believe that. Brandy?
Well, I was going to say, along with that, about how we're talking about the understanding and how they know so much. When we were all on the island last year in San Juan, everyone's getting ready to leave. It's been 5 days that we had been on San Juan and not a sighting. It's 7:30 in the morning, and people are getting showered and ready to leave to catch the ferries to go back home. And we had our own private showing. There was no one else on that first beach. And yeah, I mean, and I think all of us that day on that beach were just so, I still can't articulate it. I still cannot articulate it. I just know that there was such great emotion and such connectedness going on with what I was seeing and what I was hearing. Yeah, that was just really incredible. So I feel the same way, Howard. There's just this, I don't even question it. I just know that there is so much more to what is happening within those pods and how they can commute those emotions over thousands of miles. And I think that's exactly what was going on with Toki that day, and with
What Brandy's talking about is when we were there for the 1 year gathering of hearts. It was in the morning, and Dr. Giles called me and said, "What are you guys doing right now?" And there were, I don't know how many of us staying at the house, 15 or something.
15.
And she told us where they were, and we all hopped in a car and went on the beach, and it was very quiet, and it was early morning, and there was fog, and about 11 of us ran down there, and you could see the fins, but before you could make out that they were fins, you felt their breath, and they were a ways out, but the water just rippled, and there are no human words, Brandy, that can describe that feeling. I don't think they exist, um, in our language anyway. But they connect, and we can go on and on. Thea, I want to at some point invite you to maybe have a off. We don't have to do it live. I would like you to meet Marcia, who was Toki's trainer. She was going to be on today, but she got held over on a call, because I feel like some of your dreams and some of your connections, if you talk to her, you guys might be able to piece together a few things, so we can continue to learn, because you have a really deep connection, that I think might fill in some pieces for Marcia, or Marcia may be able to fill in for you based on her time, and her relationship with Toki. So we'll do that at some point, soon. I want to thank you again for coming on. As you can tell, you have found an extended family, if you will. We all feel uh, very similar into our duties to protect the earth and the oceans and our southern resident orcas. And so I know we will stay in touch. Oh, let me see this.
The next generation.
Okay, I'm coming.
Beautiful.
One.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Thea, so much for being with us today. Deb Cruz, thank you for getting in contact with Kurt, to get in contact with Thea. It's been a pleasure having you on. We have more work to do. I will briefly share. I know on the Seattle news, they talked about the giant turbines. Um, Recently, I can post a link there to just kind of what's going on, but it was on the Seattle news, and that was good. So it's making headlines about what they're trying to do. We've talked about it on the show before, about the turbines, and how the tidal energy project in the Salish Sea is facing fierce pushback from environmental groups. So thank you, everyone, for
Good.
continuing to push back on what would be such a disservice to our oceans and to our southern residents. Also, just released today is this film, and I just finished watching it before the show started. It just got released today. You can see there on National Geographic Disney. Um, and uh, this was so well done. It was so well done. If it's possible to love the ocean any more than we do, the first 20 minutes of this film really has you fall back in love, or re in love with the ocean, or deeper in love, whatever you want to call it. And it takes you on the journey of what's going on in the trawl industry and what we can do about it. It was released, again today, and it ends saying that the world's countries committed to protect 30% of the global ocean by 2030. And now the responsibility lies with all of us to ensure this happens. It provides some hope, while not holding back on what is actually happening and what it's doing to the earth and to its inhabitants. But there's stuff we can do about it, guys. Remember, whaling was everywhere at one point until the public outcry stopped that. And we can do that with this. And I'll just leave you with this. Um, David Attenborough said, if we just let nature take its course, oops, and I didn't spell it right. Good job, Annette. If we just let nature take its course, the sea will save itself. And That is very true. So I want to leave people with that. Please watch it. It's a hard watch, but it's a good watch. It's a necessary watch. And this could be the trawl industry's blackfish. It absolutely could be, and I hope it is. So thank you. I'll go around if anyone has any closing thoughts.
Actually, I have something I want to say.
Yes, please.
Well, for anyone who's watching, if you are near the coast or in the forest, maybe near streams, I advise you to don't listen to the voice, but listen to the heart. Just take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want, and just listen for that minute. Like what you hear, what is around you. Can you feel the wind? Do you feel temperature? And just be happy and proud for where you live and that nature is connected in all of you.
Wow. You're amazing, Fia. I hope you come back and join us again. Anytime you want to, you're welcome to.
I sure will. I look forward to it.
It's really, really great. Anybody else have anything to say before we close?
Just welcome and thank you. And you're so, what an amazing young lady. Thank you.
What Brandy said. You're amazing. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, Fia, thank you so much. And yeah, like Annette said, we're definitely your extended family. We all think the same way, and it's wonderful to find other people that do. So thank you so much.
Dan, and then just to end, Deb Cruz, do you have the link again where folks can register? Let's see, we had it up in the comments, but this is next Saturday. There you go. Deb Cruz has it up on the screen. So thank you, Fia. Thank you for going to this and being part of this and honoring the Southern resident orcas. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week with Darren. Let me go ahead and say that real quick. We have Darren Croft on with us next week from the Center for Whale Research, and we're really looking forward to that show. So for those of you watching, hop on next Sunday. You don't want to miss Darren. Darren has all the info, all the 411 on what's going on with the Southern residents. So it's going to be great to have him on. You guys have a wonderful day. See you next week.
Bye.